Welcome to Gulfstream Park. It is February 23rd, 2014. Christina Bossanakis here, and I'm joined by Stephen Skaggs, and we're coming into the final day of just an unbelievable weekend of racing. Stephen, the weather's been great. It's been on a touch on the warm and the muggy side, but the track has been playing super fast. And Stephen, a couple of races yesterday, we'll just get into it because the whole card, even some of the races on the undercard, were like stakes. And one of them, we can just take a look at race 4, Normandy Invasion. He came back off of a considerable layoff, hasn't been seen since a 4th place effort in the Kentucky Derby last year. And Stephen, what an impressive return.
I think he set the track record. One thing I want to say about this horse is Chad's done a brilliant job laying him off and kind of staying away from the end of his 3-year-old season. He brought a great horse over yesterday. It looked like the horse has put on 150 pounds. I thought he looked great.
He did, and now we're seeing Constitution, and this was in race 6. This was from the Todd Pletcher barn, and Todd Pletcher, Javier Castellano, who both had a fantastic day yesterday. They came in and they came out firing. Todd had 4 winners on the afternoon, and this was one of them. Constitution, he had a really bad break in his previous race, and but this time he was a lot closer up, and he made amends for it. He was really impressive.
I thought in his first race he looked like a 2-turn horse. I think he's always wanted this, and with his braking trouble out of the gate, I think a 2-turn race gives him a little more time to show his speed and catch up.
He is by Tappet, so I think that I agree with you. I think that he's probably going to, as he goes on, he'll appreciate that extra distance. But you know, Pletcher also had a winner, Global Strike, and he was another nice 3-year-old, I thought, that won yesterday. So really a great day. And speaking of Todd Pletcher, who's won 10 times the Gulfstream leading trainer here up until 2013. He had the winner in the Devona Dale, and that was only for you. And she was pretty impressive. Her 4th consecutive victory, and with this win, she remained undefeated.
Yeah, I want to give out a shout-out to Glencrest Farm. This 3-year-old filly by Malibu Moon, she just keeps passing every test. She's now 4 for 4, Grade 2 winner. I don't know what's next, do you?
I don't, and almost wondering in terms of stretching her out. This was the first time they were stretching her out. I thought with being by Malibu Moon, she might be able to handle it, and Todd was saying prior to the race he thought she was going to handle it. I don't know if she can go much further than that, do you?
I think Mile and Eighth might be her friend still, but she definitely has a forward running style, and I think Gulfstream Park suits that.
It certainly does. And speaking of a horse that really likes Gulfstream Park, and that is a Reload. And Reload won the Canadian Turf handicap yesterday from the Shug McGahee barn, giving Shug his 2nd consecutive victory in this race. He won with Datalink last year. Javier Castellano was aboard last in 2013. Those two come back. They combine with Reload, who very impressive and a really striking looking horse too.
Yeah, that was a brave victory. I think Javier Castellano did the right thing staying on the fence. It seemed like that was the best part of the turf course yesterday, and I think it made the difference in the victory.
And rounding out yesterday's stakes action, the Grade 2 Bessilou Fountain of Youth Stakes was so, you know, there was a cast of characters that, you know, every one of those horses, or several of those horses, could have jumped up and been a star after that race. And it was Wildcat Red who won last time. He won the Hutchison, and he met his old rival, General A-Rod, who won the Gulfstream Park Derby and actually got the best of him. But Wildcat Red turned the tables on him this time.
It goes to show you that class can prevail. I think that was the Grade 2 winner in the bunch, and he turned the tables on General A-Rod, who had got the nose better in the Gulfstream Park Derby. So we are creating a little rivalry down here in South Florida.
You know, Javier Castellano ended off the day. He did get beat in the big race just by a whisker, but he ended off the day with 6 wins. One more, he would have tied one Mr. Jerry Bailey, who held the record. But just a great day of racing, as we said. Todd Pletcher, he had 4 on the afternoon. So everybody, you know, just a great day of racing. We come into today's card, and there is a carryover for the Rainbow Six. It is at $1.35 million, and that starts in race 6. And Stephen, let's get into it. We got a lot of ground to cover. And the first race on today's card, it is a 12.5 maiden claiming event. It is a mile on the main track. My top selection, I went with number 5, Hewitt Chew. And I see that you did too. And my reasoning, or one of my big reasons for picking this horse, I see him as the sole speed in here.
Right. If you look at yesterday's races, it seemed like speed in the rail was good. So I'm with you. I was looking who I thought would make the lead in this race. The 5, Hewitt-Chu, trained by Ricky Griffith. This horse has already performed at the 1 mile distance that we're running at today, has a second. Horse might graduate today, but 2 horses worth mentioning. The 3, Runaway Bridle. 0 for 3 at the distance, but a second and 2/3 I think might pick up the pieces. And then the 4, Malayla's Diary, trained by Kenny McPeak. Huge class drop, dropping from maiden 75,000 to maiden 12.5.
So looking on to the second race on the card, which kicks off the early pick 4 today. And there was one scratch, number 4. That's 2-step floor. It is a starter optional claiming event, a 50,000 claiming price, 6 furlongs on the main track. And my top selection in there, I went with number 2, Liberty Fuse. And I think this is another one I think is helped by the scratch of number 4, 2-step floor, who I think is also going to be showing speed in there. And I see that you went in a different direction.
I like the 7, Yes Miss Olga. I like her to race last time. This filly's 2 for 3 at Gulfstream with the 3rd, 2 for 4 at the distance. But I like your horse as well. They're both 4-time winners, so they know how to get the job done, and they're facing some horses that might not.
Certainly do. On to the third race on the card, which is a 20,000 maiden claiming event. It is 6 furlongs on the main track. And my top selection, I went with number 1, and that's Donegal Hall. And this is another one that's been showing speed early, and he's been getting beat he's been getting leg weary in the last couple of starts. Those were over 7/8. Now we're cutting back to 6 furlongs. And also I think the class break from Maiden Special Weight Company down to 20,000 maiden claiming company is going to help big time.
If you look at this horse's 4 races back, he got beat by a horse named Joe's Gone Wild. Joe's Gone Wild has since gone on to win again, and I think a little bit of Joe's Gone Wild. So I'm with you, the 1, Donegal Hall. It looks like the 4, Caesar Run, likes to run second, 0 for 10 with 5 seconds, so that might round out your exacta. And then the 2, Stowe, trained by Danny Gargan. When in doubt, you might want to take a firster in a bunch like this.
Yeah, you certainly do. The unexposed types, as we like to say. On to the 4th race on the card, and this is the 10 Palms. It is a mile on the turf course for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. And I went with number 2, Bairama, and this is a horse I'm particularly fond of. I think that she's better at a mile. Her last couple of races had been on the synthetic 9 furlongs, 9 and 10 furlongs. I think this distance is going to suit her, and she just has all the class in the world. Running in graded stakes company, that was out west. She was with Simon Callahan. Now she's in the barn of Bill Mott. But I think quite a lot of this filly.
Yeah, you get a grade 1 winner in a listed stake. It's first time Bill Mott. I went with your horse, Christina, the 1, She's Spooky. Christina gave this horse out last time at 7-1. I like She's Spooky today because I think she's on the lead, and the way the track's playing, I think speed's good. She's on the rail. She's 3 for 8 at Gulfstream with 3 seconds. She's an honest type, and I think if you're going to beat Bairama, it might be off the layoff. Maybe not, but I'm going to take a shot with your horse.
Yeah, you know, and she also she was second behind Tapacat a couple of races back, and I thought that she's a very nice filly herself. And what about number 3, Ready Signal, Amy Tarrant? She hasn't really hit the board in any, but she's finished pretty close up to She's Spooky last time.
Right, and I think she likes Gulfstream Park. She has ran second here a couple times. So I think you're going to get Ready Signal's A race. Is she good enough?
Yeah, I also threw on my ticket number 6, Toasting, and this is a congrats filly. And I think for the first time turf, at least from the dam side, the bottom side, she's got some turf in there. She was 3rd behind Sweet and Discreet, Devil's Cave, both nice fillies. Devil's Cave came back very impressively and won just about 2 weeks ago, and I threw her in there. And number 5, Alora Michelle as well. I threw her on my ticket as well. On to the 4th race the 5th race on today's card, and it is a 25,000 allowance optional claiming event. It is a 6 furlongs on the main track, and this race kicks off the pick 4. My top selection, number 7, and that's Imperial Czar. And it looks like we went in the same direction this time, Stephen, and coming into this off of a 3-length victory last time, and over this track and trip.
I think it's a funny race in that the 7, 3, 6, and 1 have all faced each other. Last time it ran 7, 3, 6. I think it could go right back that way. The 7, Imperial Czar, this horse likes to win. He's a warrior. This horse is 10 for 48. The rest of the field is, a bunch of one-time winners. Imperial Czar's won about as many times as these horses combined. So I like this horse right back. He runs an 8 on the ragas and sheets. That makes him the winner.
And looking onto the 6th race on the card, it is a 7.5 furlong turf event. It is an allowance optional claiming test with a $75,000 claiming price. And a couple scratches, the 12 and the 13. And this race kicks off the Rainbow Six. And we do have that carryover, $1.35 million. And my top selection in here, I thought this was a pretty tough race. There were a couple of horses that I liked and some of them that had back class. I landed on number 9, Who's in Town. And this is a 3-year-old filly by Speightstown. I really liked her last time, and she just got beat a nose. It was a really, really tough beat, Stephen.
Right, this might be the most unlucky 3-year-old filly in the country.
She
She's already got disqualified from a grade 2, and then she gets beat a nose in this race. I don't even know if she saw the horse coming. It looks like she tried to dig in late, but like you mentioned, her pedigree, she's by Speightstown. She's out of a Cozine mare. She should appreciate the distance. But this is a great race. I like this A Other Than. A filly I wanted to mention, the 6 Misarrangement, trained by Eddie Keneally. She's cutting back in a trip a little bit here, and if you notice, she won at Keeneland first time out. She went 1-10-4 that day. She broke her maiden the same day as the Wayne Catalano filly we had yesterday running the graded stake, Aurelia's Bell.
Yeah.
She actually went 1-11 flat that day. So I think a lot of misarrangement, and I think this is the trip that suits her.
You know, it's funny, I used her on my ticket as well. I also used number 2, and that's a Super Sky. She cost $235,000 at the Keeneland April sale. That's the 2-year-old in training sale. Now, her only win is on the synthetic, and that's at Keeneland. However, I thought that last race was pretty good. She finished behind a horse named Macaroon, a Darley-owned filly that I quite like.
Right, that was a nice race that day. And Misarrangement, the 6, ran right behind the 2 Super Skies. So maybe we'll have a new rival here, and they'll run 1-2 today.
That's it, definitely. On to the 7th race on today's card. It is a maiden special weight event. It is a 1.16 miles on the turf course, and this kicks off the Pick 5. My selection in here, number 7, Tis a Dynaformer, and this is a 3-year-old filly by Dynaformer, and she made her debut back in September at Belmont Park, and that was a pretty nice, I think, a useful debut effort. And this time, I think second time out, will prove a little bit better, although she's been off for quite a while.
Right, those maiden races at Belmont are coming up strong for the Gulfstream form. It seems like the New York horses are doing well. I ended up with the same horse as you, Christina. I really like this filly. I don't know if we're going to get 5-1 Tis a Dynaformer, but she ran a 13 on the Ragozin sheets first out, which is faster than anyone in here. If she takes a step forward like she naturally should with her pedigree, I don't mind that she's coming from a layoff. The only thing I want to mention is she's not running with Lasix today.
Yeah, she's not running with Lasix. And you also mentioned coming off the layoff. There are only a handful of trainers that I really appreciate to the degree where I'll bet them off of any kind of significant layoff, and Bill Mott happens to be one of them. But I also threw on my ticket number 1, I Am Now. Todd Pletcher, who's been hotter than him, and he's very tough to beat. Even when they catch a really not a great post, they seem to run and run well. And Johnny V takes over from Javier Castellano last time, and so I threw her on there. She came into this second place effort last time behind Analog Girl, who's actually running earlier on the card.
Right, and if the 7 were to lose this race, Christina, I'm going to try to find the horse who I think will make the lead. I didn't see much pace in the race, and I thought the 2 Hunting Hill, trained by Rusty Arnold, might show a little bit coming out of sprints.
Yeah, and I think, you know what, that's a pretty good selection. I didn't use that one on my ticket, I should say. And I also threw on number 10, Jazil's Dream, from the Tom Albertrani barn. And if you go back, was favored last time and really didn't show as much. She tired to 4th in that latest race back in November. But prior to that, if she runs back to her earlier form, I think she could be in the mix as well. On to the 8th race on the card, which is a maiden, 75,000 maiden claiming event. It is a 1.16 miles on the turf course. A couple of scratches in there, number 7 and number 15. And number 6 is my top selection, Love My Empire, from the Mike Maker barn. And here's another hot connections, Ken and Sarah Ramsey. They're very, very tough to beat here, especially in the turf races. And this one was favored last time and was the beaten favorite last time. However, I like this one to move forward off of that effort.
Right, this race 8 starts to pick 4, so I was looking to light up the tote board. I went with the 3 Spring Spirit, trained by Mark Cassie. The daughter at Spring at Last is coming from a layoff, but she's Mark Cassie's percent, maiden special weight to maiden claim, and he's 27%. I like that this filly should be on the lead. We'll see what Jose Lascano does. They won a race together yesterday, Mark Cassie and Jose Lascano, and they put that horse on the lead. So let's just see how this race trips out.
You know, and I think with Mark Cassie, what's interesting to note, I've been picking a lot of his horses, and he hasn't fired. We were talking about it the other day. He hasn't really fired up until now. I guess maybe the running style, not necessarily, the one, it's not same types of track as we have at Woodbine, where he does so well. His horses tend to come from off the pace. They tend to make those steady moves, that one move late. But he is like a really, really good horseman, and I have like the utmost respect for him to get them ready.
He's a high percentage trainer, and you'll see that a lot at Gulfstream. Some of these trainers are kind of wintering their horses and pointing towards the spring and summer, but I think Cassie will start heating up as the meet moves on. His horses are getting more and more ready. This horse, I don't know if we'll get 20-1 just because they are high percentage connections, but I think I'm just going to take a shot in this maiden $75,000 race.
I think we'll probably get a better price than we probably should, but again, a top-class horseman, Mark Cassie. On to the 9th race on today's card, and that is the Ladies Turf Sprint. It's the feature of the day. It is a 5-furlong turf event for the ladies. A couple of notable scratches, number 1, Madame Geary, and number 10, Julio's Jewel. Madame Geary was my top selection in here, and so it changed things considerably for me. I ended up going with number 5. I was going to take a shot with Believe in Charlie, getting the services of Javier Castellano. We can take a look at Believe in Charlie's latest race, and Tom Bush, his numbers, his percentage here at the current meet have been pretty good. He's hitting at almost a 30% clip.
Yeah, Tom Bush is on fire down here at Gulfstream. 4 for 14 on the meet. His horses keep running. I like this trip right here, Christina. This horse ran all the way to the wire, just got up late. She likes the 5/8 grass move at Gulfstream Park. I went with the 7, Runway Ready. I thought she's 5-2. I didn't think that she'd be that short a price, but she's a new face in here, kind of stepping up in class. She's 2 for 4 at Gulfstream. I think she's the fastest horse in the race. Does she have the class to run with these?
One thing I want to ask you, Stephen, is what you think in terms of the pace scenario, because there appear to be several horses in here that will show or can show speed here. And does that deter you at all? And I see obviously you picked a Runway Ready, so she's going to be sure to be on the front, on the lead, but does that deter you in any way?
Right. Well, 5/8 on the grass, sometimes they just run as fast as they can, as far as they can. And the way the track's playing right now, I'm handicapping for speed. So usually in a race where there's a lot of speed, I'm looking for a backer, a horse to kick from out of it. But just looking at the races yesterday, until I'm proven otherwise, I'm going with speed.
Okay, good for you. And actually another horse that I threw in there, I see we both threw on our tickets, All We Want for Christmas, and from the Mike Trombetta barn, and just a slew of placings. This mare she's so consistent, not always getting the job done. You have to go a little bit further back in her form, but she's always in the hunt.
If you liked Madame Geary, if that was your top pick, you could go with All We Want for Xmas. That horse is running right behind her, so with the scratch, you could land on that horse. I think I picked her second.
Very good. On to the 10th race on today's card, which is a 6-furlong event. It is 62.50 claiming. And then there are a couple of there's one scratch in there, number 3, Denied Permission. And my top selection, number 1, and that's Distinct Move. And pretty good connections, or pretty current connections, and also coming into this off of some steady races.
I went with the 6, 2-Minute Lick, who's already beat the 1, Distinct Move. I don't know why this horse is 10-1 with Paco Lopez aboard, but the horse is 3 for 8 at the distance, and I don't know if we'll get those odds, but you got to take them if you do. I think this is the horse to beat.
Yeah, I think I used this one on my ticket as well, and this is another race that seems to have plenty of speed. On to the 11th and final race on today's card, which is a 16,000 claiming event. It is a 1.16 miles on the turf course. 2 scratches, number 5, Totem Tail, and number 7, South of the North. Or Soul of the North, excuse me. And my top selection, I went way outside to the 10 Grown Men Cry. from the Jane Sibeli barn, coming into this off of a victory in a similar class and conditions.
I like that horse's last race, the 10 Grown Men Cry. That was a non-16-2 life, non-2 life. Now the horse is in non-3 life. So a little bit step up. It's facing a little bit better horses, but that horse was impressive here on the grass. The horse wants the grass. I went with the 1 Barzini class dropper, shipping from Fairgrounds. We've already seen Mike Maker successful with this move. It rains so much over there, he has to bring him to Florida where he can run on grass.
Yeah, so they've came off, been taking some of those races off the grass, and I also threw in, I see we both threw in number 3, Mr. Baker, and coming into this off of a pretty good effort, although this is the first time that he's starting for Gammy Vasquez.
Joins the Frank Calabrese barn. The horse ran well enough last time. Big enough figures to beat this field. I expect that horse to be there at the end.
Okay, so that's it for today's card. We do have that carryover in the Rainbow Six, $1.35 million, and that starts in race 6. And Stephen, quickly, we were talking about track conditions. We know it's speed, 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 speed. And do you see, does that just automatically mean we rule off anything that comes from off the pace, or how do you look at it?
Well, just watch the first couple races and adjust. Treat it, as of now, treat it like yesterday, but maybe the track changes and we'll make changes.
No, we will adjust as we go on. A great weekend of racing here at Gulfstream. Christina Bosnack is here, and Stephen Skaggs and Ron Nicoletti will join me the rest of the afternoon, and I hope you do too. Good luck, everybody.
Good luck.